and it's a nature. I don't sit and get caught up in trying to be perfected. I'm having a drink right now. That's my cup. Excuse you if you offended. I move how I move.
Preach.
Because where were
My
you
brother.
when I was catching hell?
Mm-hmm.
What's going on, good people? It's another episode of the Cook Up. You already know what it is. If you made it this far, you might as well go ahead and hit that like button and subscribe to this channel. Today we got the owner of Righteous Cuts Barbershop here in Tuscaloosa, Alabama, but he's so much more than a barber, and he brought his lovely wife with him. Introduce yourself and introduce your wife, and let's roll into it.
Yes, sir. Well, for those who don't know, Jimmy Smith, my beautiful wife, Silkee.
Hey, everybody.
14
Silkee.
years.
14 years.
14 years.
Before we get deep into conversation, is Silkee the real name? Because that's dope.
Yep.
That's a dope name. Silkee.
Silky bank here.
Yes.
Not with the Y, but two E's.
Hey,
Silkee with two E's. Do not get it mistaken.
Do not get it
Not get
twisted.
it twisted.
Oh man, I love that name. I really do.
Thank you.
But bro, we here. We briefly had a quick conversation a couple of days ago, and you telling me about the walk that you've been on. And I've known you for a while, and I've known you since high school. But I also, as an adult, saw you kind of transition into more of a spiritual person. Let's just start there, man. Like, what's been going on with you? And before we get into that, how are you right now?
Yeah. Wow. It's a lot, definitely a lot going on. You know, since I've embarked on this journey, when I made the decision consciously, you know what I'm saying, and subconsciously to go all in, you know, to sell out basically.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's been a lot. It's been a lot. It's a lot of trials, a lot of adversity, it's a lot of goodness too, you know what I'm saying? It's a lot of balance. You know what I'm saying? I'm understanding the power of perspective now, you know what I'm saying? And
Okay.
the things that's important, the things that really matter in life, bro. And I like the way you put it, the walk, because it's definitely a walk, bro. It's a journey. And if Nip didn't say nothing else, bro, it's definitely a marathon. It's not, the race was not given to the strong nor the swift, but he who can endure unto the end.
Was it something in particular that, you know, coming out of childhood and transitioning into an adult, was it a specific experience that you had that made you say, well, I want to, or this is something that I need to embark on? Or what was that spark for you?
It's always been there. That's why I can't escape it. It's within. It's an awareness. It's not something that just comes up on you. Well, I'm speaking for myself because I understand that each heart is different. You know what I'm saying? Each mind is different. But as far as me, it's something I couldn't escape. I can remember from a child, you know, dealing with things that I'm wondering, are other kids dealing with this? You know what I'm saying? Experiencing this. Not that it was a bad thing, but the things that I was dealing with weren't normal. You know what I'm saying? Like, you could sit and look at everything that everybody else going through, people around you or whatever. But what I'm dealing with, nobody's talking about. Nobody's dealing with. Nobody's bringing it up. And so that's why, as long as you know me, I've been the same. I'm kind of an introvert. You know, I'm kind of to myself. And as I've learned, as I've grown on this path, I understand that you have to be. You know what I'm saying? Because it's something that's within. That's got to be brought out. You feel what I'm saying? So at that, when you want to know, like, basically the moment when it clicked, like, okay, it's time to do things different. I would say when I truly got saved was when April the 27th happened, 2011. That's when I truly had that epiphany. You know what I'm saying? That I can't do this. This bigger than me. I can't keep fighting against this. You know what I'm saying? This thing, I can't deny it. You know what I'm saying? I can't deny what I'm experiencing. I know I'm not crazy. I'm normal. I'm just like anybody else, but I'm experiencing something on the inside that I can't escape. So let me get this a try. This keep knocking at my door. Let me open the door. You feel me? Because only thing that, as long as I buck against it, it just brings devastation. It just creates havoc. It just, things don't go right. It don't flow.
So when you say April 27th, 2011, if I'm not mistaken, that was when that tornado came through Tuscaloosa and pretty much destroyed the city, right?
Yes.
Like that. So it obviously impacted a lot of people, but you say that was the one that turned the switch for you. So it leads me to believe that you say it's something that you were dealing with internally already. I want to kind of go back to when you said you were a child. Like, if you don't mind, just give me an example of one of those experiences when you felt like, I know other people maybe, I know I'm not crazy. This is happening to everybody, but it's hitting me different.
Right.
You know what I mean?
It's definitely one thing that stood out. I'm a dreamer. And when I was a kid, it was this one dream that it was repetitive. I had this dream at least 3 times a week for like a year or 2 straight. And it was like I was at my home, the home I grew up in the country in Utah. Shout out to Utah, Alabama.
Hey.
Yeah,
Right. Not Salt Lake City.
Right. And so in the dream, it's like I can still remember, and I still had this dream to this day. Not as often as when I was a child, but it was like it was like a army coming down the street. If you stood in the driveway of our home and you looked down the road, it was a curve at the end of the road, as far as you could see. And in the dream, I would always see from the beginning of the curve, I would see the drummers, like an army, like they in formation. And they coming to like seize your home, like take over, like they coming. So in the dream, I run and I hide, because it's like in the dream, I was conscious that, okay, it's time, they coming. You know what I'm saying? They coming to get us. And in the dream, I see them, they marching, they coming, they heading, and there's nowhere to hide, there's nowhere to run. It's like, okay, it's your turn. They got you. That's the understanding I was getting as a child, you know what I'm saying? And so as they come to your home, it's like they kick in your door. They looking under your bed. They looking for everybody in the house, but they never could find me. They never could find me. I always hid. Then I come out of it. I still had a dream to this day, bro.
Yeah. At that early age, even though you may have not realized what it was, but you always knew from a very young age there was some type of a calling on you.
Yes, bro.
For sure.
It's like when I was a kid, my brother and them, Calvin, in a situation, they would be like, Jimmy gonna jump religious on me.
Okay.
Jimmy gonna, we could be drinking, whatever. Like, I'm gonna find a way to try to get you to see what I'm saying. You know what I'm saying? To try to just get on that level. You know what I'm saying? Because this is something it's almost like it's hidden, but it's shown to me, and I'm knowing it to be true. You know what I'm saying? Some way.
Yeah.
But it's like
Heavy.
nobody's talking about it.
Right.
Nobody's dealing with it. Nobody, like, I'm gonna ask the hard question.
Right.
I want to know, I can't do the surface. Let's go into what the substance is. You know what I'm saying? Let's get the depth. God got a way of setting things in order, because for one, you got to learn how to lean not to your own understanding. And that's one of the hardest things it is for men, because it's hard for us to relinquish that control when everything on our back.
Boy, what you said.
You know what I'm saying? But it's like there's a higher power and authority who we must, if we believe, because we at some point got to go from believing to knowing. So I'm at that point, because believing can't do it for me no more, because I have fully submitted and surrendered. I have no mind of my own, because I was put in situations and circumstances to where I had to trust God so many times till I understand what it was doing for me. It was deleting my hard drive. It was deleting things out of me that was in me that I needed to. Your body, you like a system. You like a computer.
100%.
You got to know what type of software you purchase.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Because the software that's in you got to come out of you as you grow. And people don't understand why. See, that's why you praise and worship God, because you have to release. we walk around here full because we don't worship God. When you worship God and you praise God, it gets you to a point to where you release. That's why you see people cry, they purge. You have to have those times, because if you don't, you just gonna bust. That pressure gotta go somewhere. It's gonna crash. It's just like your phone or your computer. It's gonna crash. You're gonna crash. That's why people can't take it no more. Can't handle it. Can't deal with it. And the higher you go, the bigger your level, the bigger your devil. Just as big as your success, that's your devil is just that big.
You're right.
All of us got gifts.
Yeah.
Your job is to tap into your gifts, to understand it. So you got to spend time with you. You got to get to know you. You got to know that I have a conscious, I have a subconscious. I can't allow my conscious to rule me. My consciousness, you know, people were talking about they woke. Okay, and you woke, but you just still sitting on side of the bed. You going to get up. You going to get up and start doing something.
Exactly.
Just because you woke don't mean that. That's just knowledge. That's information. But you need wisdom, godly wisdom on top of that knowledge. You know what I'm saying? That's what's going to lead you, guide you, direct you. I'm the truth, the way, and the life.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? We were given religion. We were taught. There's some things got to come off of us. There's some understanding we got to get out of our subconscious, and we got to put back into us, into our subconscious. It comes through your consciousness to your subconscious. You sit and watch Housewives all day. All you know is Housewives. You sit and whatever you put in you, you are what you eat.
Right.
And so you went so long downloading all this stuff into you in the wrong way out of ignorance. And this goes for everybody. Nobody's exempt.
Exactly.
That's what keeps me humble. Just because I know this, I know nothing. That's the biggest success, knowing that you know nothing.
Yeah.
When you realize that you know nothing, let God give it to you, then can God give to you. But God can't pour nothing in a full glass. You know what I'm saying? You got to keep that cup half full.
Man. And like you said, you be dealing with other folks stuff and you be carrying it.
And they don't even realize
Don't even realize, but you in a position to where you meet different attitudes and people every day. You
dealing
a
with it
barber.
all day, every day.
You a barber. So you a counselor.
Yeah.
All that.
A lot of stuff I don't even be wanting to know.
Don't
Yeah,
even
people
wanna know.
look to come to you
To drop their baggage
to
off.
drop it
their
off.
bag.
I'm going
Whether
to the
they're aware
barbershop.
of it or not.
release.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
they
because
do.
you may be the only person that they got that they could just sit down and feel comfortable opening up to. I ain't mean cut you
No,
off
don't
on that,
just
but
say
there's
that.
See, the blessing is I can see both sides of it. Everybody can't see both sides. You know what I'm saying? Some people just one track mind, a lot of them. Because you got to work and toil to get these things. See, God said he will give you the keys to the kingdom. The keys is not a virtual key, like a key that you go stick in a lock. It's understanding, it's knowledge, it's wisdom, it's discernment, it's secrets. Paul said it's a mystery. You got to figure out the mystery. Everybody. Don't die and you ain't live. You know what I'm saying? Like, at some point, we got to get off the surface. Like, you could take, like, just what we going through now, just what everybody's seeing, let's just take it off a deep level and just look through our natural life, our carnal mind, just what's going on. These things were promised. It's no secret. But have you studied? Have you gotten the information, the proper information? Were you toiling? Were you reading? Were you studying? What were you putting in you? Because these times, you were told that these times was gonna come. You were told to be able to discern the signs of the time. Your job is to be able to discern the signs of the time. If you can't, you're gonna be lost in it. If you find yourself in that world, get tricked in that world gonna destroy you. The word, what the Bible said, the world gonna destroy itself, and it's doing it. Your foot got to be in God. That's the creator of all things. You got to make a choice and a decision. This day, who you gonna serve? And I ain't talking about what grandma and them were talking about, because grandma and them had 35% of it. We got to at least get 65 to 85% out of it in this generation. And our kids got to at least get to 85 or 95. What is the will of God for your life? You can't tell me, because it's God's ideal for your life. You got to find it. If you live in that, if you find yourself spending time in that, you can find out what it is. It's not in the world. But we came into this world taught to try to conquer the world. You can't conquer this. They couldn't conquer it. Think about how many people done live this that you living now. Say you get 100 years, you outdoing anybody because you promised 70. Was that 70? So think how many hundreds of years it been. Think about how many generations that is, how many people that live. You can't conquer this. This is not meant to be saved. You can't save the world. God came to save your soul. You, it's about you. It ain't about nobody. We can sit, first thing we trying to do is point the finger. Man, it's about you. I can't eat, sleep, dookie, pee, or none of that for you.
Right.
You got to do it for yourself. Our job is being a light that somebody may be able to see you and see your works and be inspired. You know what I'm saying? Because they lost. God has equipped me with the capacity to be able to read minds. It might sound crazy. That's why I don't talk, because you can't handle this. You'll think I'm crazy. I keep it to myself and I just move strategically.
Right.
And it's a nature. I don't sit and get caught up in trying to be perfected. I'm having a drink right now. That's my cup. Excuse you if you offended. I move how I move.
Preach.
Because where were you
brother.
when I was catching hell?
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? And then to some of those who I did go to reach out to, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
So, hey, all I got is me and my family. That's my dog.
That's your dog right
That's
there.
all I got. You know what I'm saying?
Speaking-
And I'm cool with that. I'm cool with that.
Speaking of your family,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Silkee,
Yes.
what's going on with 2 E's? I see you up in here. Amen. I see.
It
I
is.
can tell that y'all get into this genuinely on the regular. I could tell like she
my
is.
rib.
I could tell it just by
rib.
I could just hear in my ear how she on
Feel
board with everything, and it
'Cause
don't
it's
seem.
facts, it's true.
Trust
It ain't no fake, none. It ain't no. Oh, I'm hyping him up because he on
Oh,
camera.
every
It's
day.
it's a genuine love and support there.
Yeah. She was patient with me, my bro.
So okay, let's tap into that a little bit, because you know that is, in terms of a relationship or marriage, that if you see this, what you've seen, and she may have not had that experience and felt what you felt, but y'all had that connection and that chemistry. What was it like being patient with him through his walk, and you know, what have you learned from him, or what have you taken from him to, you know, increase you two as a unit?
I mean, we won, you know. I had to trust his vision, you
Okay.
know, because he the head of the family, you know, and that's my husband. So with that, you know, he had a game plan, you know, of understanding this walk of life. We had to learn this together.
Okay.
You know? And he have experienced things that I haven't experienced. You know what I'm saying? If I come into a jam of not understanding or a different way of thinking or how to handle a situation, that's my homeboy. That's my husband. That's my go-to. Like, you need to help me. You know what I'm saying? Understand this.
Mm-hmm.
But we have been through some things, you know what I'm saying, in his life. But I had to trust his vision and the vision he had for himself, let alone us, our family, you know, because he's the head. So whatever he thought that was fit for us to be able to accomplish as a family and as a whole, it might be things that I didn't agree with, you know, but he did not, you know, do things without my okayness. You know what I'm saying? Like, if it's something that he want to do and it didn't work, and I'm like, no, babe, we don't need to do that. You know, it wasn't no, I'm going to do it, no matter what you say. It was always an understanding. You know what I'm saying? And I'm going to ride with him regardless.
Man, she's sick. Hey, she make it easy. That's why I know that's my wife. You know what I'm saying? Because anybody can't deal with you and ride with you under this type of pressure.
Yeah, and he
fire.
has a different mindset. Like, his mindset is
apparently.
up there. You know what I'm saying? It's a different mindset, and everything he says is true. It's facts. You know,
It ain't scripted.
You said something that's really, really key that may have went under the radar. You acknowledge him as the head of the family,
yes.
but at the same time, you said that you don't agree. You don't necessarily always agree, and it's a conversation.
Yeah, I'm not a yes
You
man.
You know what I'm saying?
You know what I'm saying?
It's just being acknowledging someone as the head of the body or the head of the household does not mean that person is just
Running
Right,
over.
right time.
it's autonomy. It's a dictatorship. It's still a partnership.
It's a
You know what I'm
partnership.
saying?
Right.
You still have
Because
to.
I see stuff that he don't see.
You feel me?
If he having a homeboy
You
and I'm like,
pour into
babe,
him.
no.
Yeah.
Like, I ain't rocking with that. He might be like, babe, this is just my homeboy. No, but I see what you can't see, but I don't want to tell you, but I'm just going to let, hey, nah, let bag up. My dog even tell you come over my house. Like, she barking too much. You know what I'm saying? Something going on. You know, so my whole family, you know, we are connected. You know what I'm saying?
And that didn't come over time.
No, it
didn't come
didn't.
easy.
It's about life. You know, we
know,
had to grow.
That part is what is killing so many homes and families and relationships and creating that cycle. I mean, keeping that cycle going, you know. But just to have that, you know what I'm saying, that order and that understanding, bro, that's the gift. That's the gift for the walk, for sacrificing. To go on this walk. You know what I'm saying? To reap those benefits that you take for granted but don't know that it's what you need. It's like life is like baking a cake, bro. You leave that egg out, it ain't gonna turn out right.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying? You got to have the proper ingredients in the proper place at the proper time. You know what I'm saying? You put them together, you mix them up, you put it in, you got to wait.
You gotta wait.
You got to be patient. Then even when it's done, you got to wait.
You gotta let it cool off.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
It's always a wait because you want right now.
Right now.
But guess what? It ain't about you. You know how many people connected to you, your success, who depend, you know how many people need you that ain't even saying that?
Right.
That don't even understand just being in your presence is an encounter. You getting something. You know what I'm saying? We take for granted. We highlight all the bad, but it's so much
What's
good.
good? Exactly.
You know
So
what I'm
much
saying?
good.
Who gonna talk about the good? Who gonna talk about cute them great fathers, lead work, booked crazy, but stop their money to go pick their kids up from school.
Exactly.
And keep them there all day and make sure they fed while being a father to the fatherless. You know what I'm saying? The guy that's around me. Now, where did you get that idea from? You know what I'm saying? Because you grew up in a home without a father.
Right.
God been working this out. Even when the enemy want to try to come in and create division, the enemy always want to create division where there's purpose. So where you see it, the thief come to
100%.
steal, kill, and destroy. Somebody got to be able to say, hold up. This ain't of God. This ain't right. Let's stop it. Let's chill. But we have the authority and the power to cause everything to come under subjection and submission to God. God is this the thing too. God is a title. G-O-D, that is a title.
Right.
Like I said, what God are you serving? I'm serving the true and living God, the creator of all things that are good. El Shaddai, Elohim, God Almighty. Not no God of no money. Not because this God that I'm talking about, he said he will give you knowledge and wisdom to obtain wealth. You don't chase nothing. It'll come find you. But guess what? You will also, on your way, you will have hardships. You're going to go through it. So people sit and give up because, they ain't about God because they struggling. Or they going, you just don't know. I'm over here catching hell for you. While you done picked up all the jewels and you off and you on Facebook shining and going crazy, just don't know your success is because of my labor. You got to know them who labor amongst you. It's been time where I asked for help. Why I got to ask you for help? I told jokers. I said, sow this seed. God telling you. I ain't never the one about no money. You feel me? Some heard the voice of the Lord. Some didn't. But it's a fall that's going to come because you off track. It's black or white. It ain't that you owe me something. It could have been for you. Obedience is better than sacrifice. But when you caught up in the glitz and the glam and the things that's going to be him, man, bro, when I saw Dolph, that video of Dolph, when I saw them taking him off in the corner van and I saw that car on the record following behind, I was like, dang, bro. Somebody else going to be driving it. He gone. But that's the thing we get so caught up on. Versus the spirit. Where his spirit at? Where his soul finna rest at? I don't know whether we come back or not. I ain't never left and came back. God is a nature. The only thing that obeys God is nature. That sun gonna come up, it gonna go down. That sky gonna look like it look. That grass gonna grow. Them trees gonna grow. Everything that God made and he said it was good is obedient. We the only thing with free will that just going crazy. But then we get a car with a 30% interest rate, we want to holler at God. Quit spreading them lies. That ain't no God. The blessings of the Lord make it rich and add no sorrow. That's the word of God. So you got to know the word of God, which is the expressed idea that God has for your life individually. Because you ain't even a dot here.
Right.
You know what I mean? A day ago, you got a cool 100 years if you make it. If you blessed. We neglect the most important thing to us, and that's our soul and our spirit. That's all you are. And you neglect it. You don't even know who you are. We don't know. I don't know. I'm learning. I'm still gaining. I ain't chasing nobody, but this is passion. You know what I'm saying? It's passion. But we neglect the very thing that's the last thing. But when you die, that car ain't going with you. All that stuff you snuck and did and all that, it ain't going with you. It's too late now. You didn't do what you didn't do what you're supposed to be doing. Life is not short. You got a long life.
The longest thing you're gonna ever do is live.
Yeah. We call them in hours. You can think about seconds. Think about minutes. When you in pain, that's when you recognize seconds. Or you waiting on something, that's when you recognize the seconds. It get long then. You know what I'm saying?
Boy, you said something.
Like for real. Like
It's true.
it's bigger, it's deeper, bro. And it all comes. And God is never sleeping nor slumber. God is forever working behind the scenes.
Now, when we were, discussing you guys being on the podcast, Calvin mentioned that Silkee earlier this year, had a serious car accident, and how it took a toll on her physically, and how she had to rebuild it. Just without going into too much detail about it, I just want to hear about at your lowest and what you had to do to rebuild yourself and that perseverance and that bounce back.
That day changed our life forever.
You ready to talk about this?
Yeah. Because many people don't survive nothing that I went through. with my
Right.
Talk to
family,
me.
So
Let's
sit here and talk about it.
let's make sure we emphasize that it was a head-on collision. 50 miles, upwards of 50 miles an hour. The guy who hit her, it was definitely his fault. Head-on collision, came around the curve in her lane. You can explain. Man.
Hit us head on, To go through something like that, our world got shook. We was hit with a mighty blow that day, But through it all, we went through and we still going through, but we gonna get through.
All right.
You know what I'm saying? So that's just tip of the iceberg. I haven't even said anything about the mental standpoint of the situation. You know what I'm saying? 3 months of that situation, I wouldn't even get in a car. I wouldn't even drive. My husband had to build me up, and babe, it's gonna be okay. I was going to Starbucks one day. I just wanted to get out the house. He took me to Starbucks. When I tell you I had a whole panic attack.
Man.
My heart felt like it wanted to just jump out my chest, like an elephant was sitting on me. And he's telling me back, calm down. But it was the traumatic thing that I had just went through and experienced. You know what I'm saying? It took me a lot to even get in the car. It took me a lot to even sit here and talk about this without even shedding a tear. But I thank God, you know what I'm saying? Each and every last one of us, myself and my 3 girls, survived it. Things that people don't even survive to be able to talk about.
Right.
If you seen my car, if you seen what we went through, it was a mess. You know what I'm saying? But it wasn't nobody but God.
Exactly.
I give him all the glory. Because
say?
he blessed us. I didn't die, and they survived. They didn't die, and I survived. Every last one of us walked away from that. You know what I'm saying? It was insecurities. It was scaredness. It was questions that I needed answers. Like, why me? Why us?
Why us, man?
I was helpless. I was laid out in the middle of the street. You know what I'm saying? My kids going crazy.
Talk about Janaya had to pull you
Yeah,
out the
my
car.
daughter had to pull me out the car.
Like, just give them, like, go through it. Like, give it to them a little bit. Like, run it down. Get it out you. This your moment. This your time to purge.
Yeah, get it out.
Yeah, just been through a lot. I've been through a lot. I had head-on collision, shattered my knee, had a dislocated elbow, still going through with this, because my arm.
Shout out to DCH. Lord, y'all need to do better.
Yes, got to do better. You know what I'm saying? My arm
Didn't
had
even
came
set her
out of my
arm back
socket,
right.
but my arm went into a panic, so it tried to grow and heal itself, quick, but I produced so much calcium in my arm so it actually grew extra bone. So when you extend your arm like this, you know that you got a socket that your bone coming in and out of. But it grew a bone and it's blocking it. So my arm is like this, but this arm stuck. So I got to deal with that, you know what I'm saying, the rest of my life. But through it all, I ain't complaining because I'm above ground. I'm seen and not viewed, you feel me? So through it all, you know what I'm saying? It's just a testimony, you know what I'm saying? A walk of life. And May the 17th, it turned me, I feel like I was reborn again because I had to get changed like a baby. I had to get fed. You know what I'm saying? I couldn't walk. I was in a wheelchair for weeks at a time. I had months and leg extended one way. I wanted to bend my leg. Everybody sleeping good. And I'm like, dang, I can't even sleep. My body locking up on me. Like, I've never experienced that in my life. You know what I'm saying? But through it all, I'm blessed. We're blessed. You know what I'm saying? I shout out to my husband and my family, my son, my kids, everybody that's connected to me. Like, they poured into me because I was at a point like, man, this how I am right now. It started building up insecurities with me.
Right.
You know, my husband, we want to go to the fight. No, I ain't finna go. Babe, it's good. I got you. No, I don't want to be seen right now. You know what I'm saying? Because I know what I'm dealing with. You might say, like, she walking straight. No, I'm limping for real. But I'm just accustomed to where my new journey, my new walk, literally. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, it's just a new journey that me and my girls are going on right now, you know. But through it all, we've been through a lot. You know, each and every last person in my household had been hit with a mighty blow. But at the end of the day, we had each other.
Right.
You know, I was weak. My husband had to be the mom. You know what I'm saying? Cooking, cleaning. I'm OCD for real.
What you say?
You know what I'm saying? I don't tour 5 vacuum cleaners in a year.
What?
You know, but
Facts.
he.
She got to see them lines.
Yeah. I got to see the lines.
Man.
But my kids felt hopeless, you know, to the point like, dang, I felt like I was an embarrassment to my kids, you know, like I'm walking like this, or that's just the mental. The enemy got me.
Right.
Because I'm like, out of mind right now. I'm by myself. You know, so I had to deal with that mental, you know, physical, emotional, you know. But like I said, I'm here right now, and I thank God that everything that we have been through, myself and my kids, my whole entire family, you know, I'm not going to complain because I'm walking this thing what you call life.
Right.
So if they got through at me, like my husband, he came on the scene when it had happened, and he made a roll call. Dead serious, I'm laid out. My kids going crazy. My kids hollering, screaming. My daughter called, told the man, he was like, man, I need to call my daddy. Please let me call my daddy. My husband got there within 2.1 seconds, felt like to me.
Yeah.
He made a roll call. He was like, Silkee, you straight? I said, I'm good. Janiyah, you straight? Yes, sir. Jordan, you straight? Yes, sir, I'm good. 7, you okay? Yes, sir. She going crazy.
What you say?
But it's the fact that he said, you know, you hear each other. So get what God got us. Let go. We here. But this moment is not finna last always.
This
pain
reality.
is not finna last always. And he had to constantly, man, I was down for a minute mentally. I didn't even really talk. Because my old way that I was used to for 34 years, like, that ain't what's going on right now.
Right.
Like, I got to teach myself how to walk again. My whole right side is damn near paralyzed. My arm is in a sling. My right side, my arm, I can't even walk. Couldn't even feed myself. Couldn't do nothing for myself. But he instilled in me through the help of his encouraging words and knowing who God is. Because I know, like, God, you ain't finna do me like this. You know what I'm saying? But he showed me, you got to go through this, but I got you.
Facts.
Because guess what? On the other side of how this really could have went,
Yes.
I could have been burying too. Because my kid's supposed to be coming around that corner, Janiyah and Jaden. But he just so happened couldn't pick my daughter up from school because he had baseball practice. He said, Ma, I need you to go get them. So either you want to deal with this right here, or did you want to deal with you had to bury 2 kids? And that's just facts, because the state trooper told me there's no way you would have survived in a Nissan Altima or a Hyundai. And that's exactly what my son was driving at that moment. That truck would have ran straight over them. So guess what? Sacrifice. Because either way it go, it was going to happen. If it was going to be us or whoever. You know what I'm saying? So that was a sacrifice. I take one for the team. At the end of the day, we all survive. And I appreciate God for getting me through mentally, because at the end of the day, everybody kept telling me, Silkee, it's mental. My doctors, this is a mental thing. I was laying in bed plenty times, looking at my leg, it would not move. I had to tell myself, man, you going to make this sucker move. It's going to move. I had to encourage myself. Everybody, you got to do it. You can do this, but I got to go through this. I got to feel this pain. My husband always told me, babe, I understand what you're going through, because I can only imagine if I was in that situation. But the only thing that's missing, that's connecting us for real, is the pain. But he understood, and he didn't do nothing but encourage me. My mom, my kids, everybody. You know what I'm saying? Like, so I had a team. Right. Because if it was not for them, the support system, it would have been over with for me.
You know, DCH, you know, I ain't gonna talk down on them. It is what it is, because it had to happen like that. They didn't set her arm back right. She laid for 8 hours because of COVID. You know, the hospital was crazy. Right. She laid for 8 hours with her arm. I'm talking about, when I say dislocated to the point where you can take your hand and put it between and touch your fingers together, like you could see the line, the slit. Laid out on the ground. It was a drop off beside her. Either she was when the guy was coming, she stopped, braced. That's what dislocated her arm. The impact jammed her. You know what I'm saying? And when I pulled up on the scene, she was laying down the hill in an ant bed. Couldn't move, leg. She Jimmy, I'm hurt. And so I'm just like, my daughter, my older daughter, she looked like somebody. She dipped her head in a bucket of blood and just snatched her head back. I'm just knowing she finna pass out. She shocked. She finna pass out in a moment. My 7-year-old, she hyperventilate. What, Dad? My 11-year-old, why she so strong? Yeah. Why it could happen to me? Why it had to happen to Mama so bad? Why? I just gathered them and I told them. I said, we believe in God, right? Yep. This is our reality. This happened now. We ain't gonna trick ourselves. This is our reality. But guess what? You hear everybody's voice. Haven't we made it through everything? We're gonna make it through this. Right. My daughter had to bust the doors weren't open. On impact, boom. They were all knocked out unconscious. They came back. My 13-year-old, the doors weren't open in there. It's heat. Airbags deployed. It's smoke everywhere. Now you in one of the new model Tahoes, like a Tahoe. So airbags all over. Boom. Ears ringing. Doors won't open. Heat. They thinking it's finna blow up. Man, my 13-year-old daughter picked up dead weight. She couldn't move. She broke up. She couldn't get out. She jammed in the passenger seat. She couldn't get out.
See, I'm like, oh, I'm finna go. My arm like, no, you ain't finna go nowhere. I'm like, what the world? I'm like, okay, I'm finna lift up. My knee like, no, you ain't gonna go nowhere. So I had to depend on my left side. I'm climbing over my middle console, but you know in the Tahoe it sit up so high in the middle. So this dead weight over here. So I done fell all the way in the back. So I'm like, Naya, please get me. She said, Ma, I got you. And she pulled me on out. True. You know, so like I said, we worked as a team. Man. When stuff like that happened, like I taught you something. Exactly. You know what I'm saying? When I'm weak, you got to be there.
You got to.
You know what I'm saying? Crazy. And it was crazy.
Because we had had a great day. I would use them on Mondays. We'll probably go down to the River Edge, the Palace, do a little gambling or something, spending some time together. Go to Los Tarasco and get something to eat, have a couple of margaritas. We chilling, you know what I'm saying, till the kids get out of school. Boom, we did that. Came home. We got a lake in the backyard, so I went fishing. My partner JT came over. Went fishing. Took them, laid across the bed, was like chilling, waiting for the kids to get out of school, go pick the kids up, whatever. Boom. She go pick the kids up. I get through fishing. Walk up the hill. JT leave. Look at my phone. 2%. I'm like, dang, my charger in the truck, Silkee gone. Boom. So I'm like, dang, hope my phone don't go dead. Sit on the back porch, 1%. Phone ring, 334 number. Like, I don't know this number. I ain't finna answer. Some said, answer that phone. Answer the phone. Is my 11-year-old daughter. Dad, we just had a wreck. Mama arm broke. Come. I said, where y'all at? We down by Dollar General. Phone went dead. Doom. Bruh, my truck, all I had was my truck. My truck had been on E for like a week. I'm knowing I can't move it. You know what I'm saying? Couldn't find my keys. Couldn't find my keys for like 4 days. I didn't know where my keys were. When I got that phone call, that's a phone call you don't want to get that your child saying it. Mind you, God is my witness. I had a vision. I made sure, because I'm good on letting insurance lap. Right. I made sure I had that insurance on that truck because I kept seeing. I'm like, why I keep seeing Silkee in a wreck? I don't want to see this. Every time I see it, I try like, whoa, no. You know what I'm saying? Ignore it, but I can't ignore it. Months, I keep seeing this. So I'm just like, okay, I'm gonna make sure I got some insurance. You know what I'm saying? I'm even, while they sleep, I'm up anointing the vehicle, praying. You know what I'm saying? All this. You know, boom, get that phone call. I don't know where my keys. I've been looking for my keys up forever, right?
Sure have.
Spirit. When I get that phone call, I go up and down on the inside at the same time. Yeah. So like, wow, you know what I'm saying? I take off running, trying to find my key. So just tell me, calm down. But I'm still, it's like I felt that battle in. I try to stay calm because it don't matter how fast you get there, it is what it is, Jimmy. Mm-hmm. So I tried to slow down, but I'm walking so fast, I'm switching. I'm walking through the house, I'm switching. You know what I'm saying? I'm looking for my keys, I'm crazy. You feel me?
I feel you, bro.
Keys, boom, right there. Boom.
Been looking for them for 4 days.
Get in that truck, boom, get down there. See traffic bagged up from here to there. I'm like, man, this my folks got their traffic like this. You know what I'm saying? Man, I get there, I see the vehicle. I'm just like, Lord have mercy. You know what I'm saying? And I see my wife laid down a hill like this. Bro. And I just see that. I see the man vehicle. Heels crushed back on some of everything peeled back to his inside. I'm running. I see my wife. I glance over there. He's sending his vehicle like this. Like I don't know if he did or what. I go run to my wife. My child, like I said, bloody, nose broke. I'm talking about, bro, you can't think. All I know is I got to run to you, God. I can't handle this. It's too much for me. You got to show up. And when God show up in moments like that and be there for you in moments like that, bro, you can't forget about him. Once you see, you can't unsee. You feel me? So that gives me endurance on this walk, no matter what you're dealing with. But people want to holler, Jesus ain't real. Man, Jesus is the truth. You don't know him.
You don't know him.
You don't know him. You don't know him. There's power in the name of Jesus, but you got to know who Jesus is to get the power. Just saying it ain't about that. Just saying Jesus ain't no power in that. Because when you know what it is, it's love. It's everything. And when you know it, you do it. That's why the Bible say, be doers of the word, not hearers only. Deceiving yourself. The heart is deceitful. That's why he said, lean not to your own understanding, but acknowledge me in all your ways and I'll direct your path. Your heart is deceitful. What is your heart? Not that thing that pumping. Your heart is your mind, your spirit. You see what I'm saying? God try the reins of the heart. You know what I'm saying? God judge you off your heart. The heart ain't gonna lie. Out of the abundance of the heart, the mouth gonna speak. There's an order to it. That's why you sit back and be like, how he know this? He know order. No matter what you trying to tell me, I see you can't stand me. I see you want to kill me. I see you hating on me. It take two to tango. I ain't got to get in there. Get what I'm going to do? Kindness. Be kind, bro. That's all you see from me.
Wow.
Love and kindness. What he said, Jeremiah 31, what is Jeremiah 31:3, I think? With love and kindness have I drawn thee.
Right.
Don't quote me because I only read the Bible like that. It just in me. That's why I tell you, I can't run from this. I only read the Bible like that. But I guarantee you it's there. God teaches me from on high. I've been homeschooled. I can't go sit in anybody's church. God have me to speak to the leaders. Your most high prominent bishops and pastors. I talk to them. Do I not?
Yep.
I pray for them. I keep them off the edge. They call my phone. I'm the same guy that went up to the hospital ICU unit. Bishop Daniels in there, prominent bishop. Hadn't opened his eyes in 2 months. Swole bigger than me when he was smaller than Glenn. God had me to take a bottle of oil this big. That's what I had. I had some anointed oil I had anointed. This big in my pocket. Went up to that hospital room. His wife was in there. She was playing TD Jakes. He laid up there. Had the phone sitting there with TD Jakes playing. I was just saying to myself, like, that ain't nothing. You need some power in this hour. You feel me? God told me to anoint that man from the crown of his head to the soles of his feet and speak. I commanded the swelling to go down. It was like somebody poked a hole in a balloon. That man started to deflate in that bed. Think I'm lying, go up there to the ICU and ask them folks that seen it, the doctors and that man body began to shake. He started coughing. His wife ran out there and went and got the nurse. The nurse said, there's no way he can cough with that down his throat. She said, God is real. And his wife a woman of God too now. God told me, I command that man to open his eyes. Yes, God is my witness. Man, eye came wide open. Am I lying?
Not lying at all.
But let me tell you something about timing. Bishop had a stroke in my barbershop.
Yep.
We thought he was, Tony was like his sugar. He think it's his sugar. I was like, no, his ankle swelling. You know, so I was like, man, he's stroking. I just see God went, I didn't know what to do. I ain't gonna move unless God tell me. I'm not finna get in the way. So I'm just like, okay. I just begin to pray. He didn't want to call the ambulance and I'm like, man, we need to call the ambulance. He was like, nah. I went over there, I prayed for him. I said, we need to call the ambulance. You got 5 senses. We need to call the ambulance. He was up. That was the last time he was up when he was in that shop. God preserved him in that shop. We just sat there and watched. He sat in that shop for 2 hours just trying to fight, just trying to use his speed. But it was just his time. Went to the hospital where back to where I was going with it. I was trying to get out to the hospital. I could never find time to get to the hospital to see Bishop. He had been out there 2 months. I said, I'm making my business today to go see Bishop. No matter what, I'll stop my day. I got to go see Bishop. I started getting a cold out of nowhere. Me knowing that, okay, if I got a cold, my spirit on, I can't go lay hands. I can't go do that, so I got to fall back because I'm sick, you know what I'm saying? I didn't really understand that, but I learned that from my godmama. That's who trained me, you know what I'm saying? That's who really just got me going. So, boom, the next following day, it was time. That night, that morning, I had a dream. Bishop Daniel, I'm laying, it was like an out-of-body experience. I'm sitting looking at myself laying in the bed. Bishop Daniel come sit on the edge of my bed, touch me on my leg. No, sit me on my leg. He'd call me Smith. He'd be like, Smith. And so we laugh, and how we used to laugh just in dreams, just a good time. Just in the middle of laughing, he stopped like that and put his hand on my leg. That was impartation. He imparted something to me because I didn't know my call. He told me, he said, Smith, you're a Latter-day Saint. You're a Latter-day Prophet. You're a Latter-day Prophet. I didn't understand my call, and I said, I'm just willing to do whatever for God. But he was like, when you understand your call, that'll help you, give you more power and understanding in it. You'll know how to move. You feel me? He said, you're a Latter-day Prophet. He put his hand on my leg, and he began to start praying. I just began to start weeping. I woke up out my sleep. Silkee was still asleep. I went in the bathroom, cried for like 30 minutes. Came back out. She woke up. She was like, you okay? I said, let's go see Bishop. That's when I went. I got that oil, and I went out there to the hospital, and I prayed for Bishop, and that took place. I don't know if that was just God showing me power that I had now or what it was. I didn't understand it, but that just further rooted me in God. Just like, dude, you just did this.
Right. Unbelievable.
I can't take no credit for this. Because I can't just go, so don't call my phone talking about, come pray for me. I can't do it, let God say it.
Right.
You feel me? I ain't trying to take no credit or no power or get paid or nothing like that. You know what I'm saying? Because I'm still trying to smoke my weed and chill and just be normal and regular. You feel me? I'm just trying to chill.
Yeah.
But God, you got to be willing.
Mm-hmm.
If God say stop this, stop that, I got to stop.
Yeah.
So I ain't worried about what man say stop or do. You worried about my pants, but look at what's in me.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
Like, step your discernment up.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like, we got to stop, and we looking for something that it ain't never going to happen. Because you looking for all the right things in the wrong place.
Wrong place.
You check your motive. Check your heart. Go back and do your first work over. Calm down. Slow down. If you know you out of position, get out that pulpit. That blood on your hand. You only as strong as your leader, bro. A lot of people is in the wrong position. A lot of people need to come down. Just put your pride aside, man. Just get out the way.
Right.
Let God put the people in position. My name Jimmy. That means Hebrew baby boy. That means supplanter. That's what my name means. Look up your name. See what your name means. It'll help you in your purpose. Supplanter. That means they going to build it and you going to go be put in it. Same thing happened with my first barbershop. I wasn't looking for no barbershop. I was cool with coming with Amp them. Got out on the street. Set up a barbershop. Tried to do it. Tried to even get me to come work for him. No, I'm too loyal for Amp them. Why would I leave Amp them to come work for you? Boom, he couldn't make it work. Boom, next thing I know, I saw it was available. Boom, let me go see what's up with this building. Boom, fell in my lap, $600 a month. That's peanuts.
Peanuts.
Set up for a shop, my first shop in Alberta.
Yep.
Amp y'all, love y'all, thank y'all for everything you did for me.
By himself.
At the time,
Bye.
God set it up.
Well, brother, I feel like we could be doing this until tomorrow.
Oh yeah, it's time to cut.
For sure.
He can go now.
Like, if nobody else got anything from this, I did. And I appreciate you for that, man. And
God be the glory, my brother.
you know,
Sir.
you and your wife, man, y'all are obviously y'all are needed in this community, man. I appreciate you. I'm just gonna speak for everybody else that we thank you.
Man, I appreciate y'all, bro.
Thank you, man.
No, I think.
Y'all, man. I love what y'all doing, man. You know, time is of the essence, like you said. You didn't really know me back then, but you know, we crossed paths and stuff. But that's just, you know, that's a nugget right there. Time is of the essence. That didn't matter. It don't matter. You know what I'm saying? Time is of the essence, brother, and it's all about time. And there's a time and a season for all things.
Time. You're right, because the person I was back then, I was in no position to receive what you laid on me today. But I am open for all that.
Mm-hmm.
That's the blessing. That's
All
the
of that.
power and that's the blessing, bro.
Once again, as I said in the beginning, you made it this far, so you obviously liked the video. So hit the button, subscribe to the channel, and we'll be back soon. Until next time, it's the cook up, baby.
The cook
Holla at your
up.
boys.
The cook up.